Interesting, as I meet with 30 to 40 people each week, most of whom are asking if they can retire or need to keep working, I'm often left to remind them of this. As good as we are at helping savers determine how much they will need in retirement, there is no way anyone, yes, including even a little man in a sweater vest, can truly know how much you might need into the future. That's impossible, since no one knows the future but God. And due to the confusion from savers and hearing things like the rule of 120, which basically says savers should risk more money than ever before since they're going to assume that they might live forever, one of the most common concerns I have for savers is investing in things that they may not need and as a result unnecessarily putting too much of their money at risk. This fear of the future and taking unnecessary risk is not just relegated to today's modern-day saver, it also affects kings and queens. Check it out in 2 Chronicles 25:9, where a king by the name of Amaziah finds himself in this predicament of investing his hard-earned money in a bunch of Israeli soldiers to combat an enemy that never materializes. In other words, he invested in something that contained risk and expense that was never needed. Notice the reaction of King Amaziah when a godly man informs him that the services of the soldiers he invested in will no longer be needed. Basically, he's asking, hey, can I get a refund? In other words, Amaziah realized that he had just invested, or you might say wasted, lots of money over a worry he didn't need to worry about, and thus ended up throwing good money after bad. Seeing Amaziah's anguish of losing money on his investment, this godly man responds this way: "The Lord is able to give you much more than this." Of this most interesting of verses on money and the preoccupation with us sometimes wanting more of it in the future and taking unnecessary risk to get it, the late great Charles Spurgeon says this: "To lose money is at no time pleasant, and when principle is involved, the flesh is not always ready to make the sacrifice." Jesus reminds us in Luke 12:24 of the same truth about our futures and where God is in them, and where he reminds us to simply look around and see that all that God has created, the creatures that are waiting for God to take care of them. So, assuming you believe that God is in control and that he in the end will determine what we must have and when we must have it, why do we, who put our trust and faith in God, keep risking so much of our hard-earned money on fears of the future that, like King Amaziah, may never materialize? Why do we risk our principal when in most cases we don't have to? Well, here's my thoughts, Christians. If you're risking all of your money and worried about the future of it, my advice, stop putting it all at risk. Plan? Well, of course. But keep most of your principal safe. And in the end, trust God to provide what you need when you need it.
Thanks for watching. We hope you enjoyed that video. If you'd like, check out these other clips. And be sure to hit that like button and that subscribe button for more videos.